Asia, Africa, and now right here in the USA. Watch us via Roku on your smart TV. Download the Millennium TV app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Millennium TV.
Welcome to Millennium News Hour. I am Tanzeeba Naurin. In today's bulletin, we will present top and trending news from across the nation and the world. Let's begin with the headlines of the day. Biden discusses accelerating aid to Gaza in calls with Netanyahu LCC. Kamala Harris says no U.S. troops to fight in Israel-Hamas war. Mike Pence, ex-vice president, drops out of Republican presidential race. Trial begins on whether Trump should be kept off the 2024 ballot in Colorado. Biden and Xi expected to meet next month after high-level US-China meetings. Matthew Perry tributes pour in, including fellow Friends actors, classmate Justin Trudeau and SNL. Illinois man charged with murder in the fatal stabbing of a Palestinian-American boy pleads not guilty. Ohio man accused of killing 4 men with fatal fentanyl doses to rob them pleads not guilty. Nearly 100 are dead or missing in Mexico from Hurricane Otis. Gaza incursion will continue and intensify, IDF says. Bangladesh top court commutes death sentences of 7 militants to life in prison for 2016 cafe attack. Afghanistan beats Sri Lanka to boost semi-final bid. Pakistan's chief selector Inzamam quits amidst World Cup fiasco. And FIFA bans ex-Spanish FA chief Rubiales for 3 years over kiss scandal. You were listening to Headlines Now News in detail. President Joe Biden has called for accelerating humanitarian assistance to Gaza in phone calls with the leaders of Egypt and Israel, the White House said. Biden spoke with the two leaders separately on Sunday and they discussed different aspects of the conflict in Palestine as Israel continues to pound Gaza, according to the White House. During the call with Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, the two committed to the significant acceleration and increase of assistance flowing into Gaza beginning and then continuously. The White House said humanitarian aid is trickled into Gaza through the Rafah crossing run by Egypt, the only crossing not controlled by Israel. However, the UN and others have said the current amount of aid is woefully inadequate in answering the needs of the 2.3 million Palestinians in the enclave, as Egypt remains concerned about the fate of Palestinians who may wish to flee Gaza. The White House said that ensuring that Palestinians in Gaza are not displaced to Egypt or any other nation was also on the agenda. LCC has repeatedly said that Palestinians should not move away from their ancestral lands in order for them to be able to achieve a long-standing dream of nationhood. To Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, Biden said Israel has every right and responsibility to defend its citizens from terrorism, but he added that this needs to happen in a manner consistent with international humanitarian law that prioritizes protection of civilians. Biden also underscored the need to immediately and significantly increase the flow of humanitarian assistance to meet the needs of civilians in Gaza, the White House said. The US is not telling Israel what to do, Vice President Kamala Harris has stated, as debate over Washington's stance on the war in Gaza mounts. Speaking in an interview with CBS on Sunday, Harris stressed that the United States is only providing advice, equipment, and diplomatic support to Israel. US troops will not be sent to Israel or Gaza, she added. US policy regarding the conflict has come under increased focus after Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said his country's war with Hamas has entered its second stage. A terrorist organization, Hamas, slaughtered hundreds of young people at a concert. Israel, without any question, has a right to defend itself, Harris told CBS reporter Bill Whitaker. That being said, it is very important that there be no conflation between Hamas and the Palestinians. The Palestinians deserve equal measures of safety and security, self-determination and dignity. And we have been very clear that the rules of war must be adhered to and that there be humanitarian aid that flows, she said. Asked whether the war could drag US troops into fight, Harris said, "We have absolutely no intention, nor do we have any plans to send combat troops into Israel or Gaza, period." Harris also noted that while the US wants to ensure the conflict does not escalate, it has not been easy. Former Vice President Mike Pence on Saturday dropped his bid for the Republican presidential nomination, ending his campaign for the White House after struggling to raise money and gain traction in the polls. "It's become clear to me this is not my time," Pence said at the Republican Jewish Coalition's annual gathering in Las Vegas. "So after much prayer and deliberation, I have decided to suspend my campaign for president effective today. We always knew this would be an uphill battle, but I have no regrets," Pence went on to tell the friendly audience, which reacted with audible surprise to the announcement and gave him multiple standing ovations. Pence is the first major candidate to leave a race that has been dominated by his former boss turned rival, Donald Trump, and his struggles underscore just how much Trump has transformed the party. A former vice president would typically be seen as a formidable challenger in any primary, but Pence has struggled to find a base of support. It was unclear which, if any, candidates would benefit from Pence's departure, given his limited support. But those hoping to see the party move on from the former president welcomed the news as a step towards consolidating around a single Trump alternative. Pence did not endorse any of his rivals on Saturday but continued to echo language he has used to criticize Trump. A Denver court began hearing arguments Monday in a lawsuit seeking to bar former President Donald Trump from the state's 2024 ballot over his role in the Capitol attack on January 6, 2021. The trial comes after Colorado Judge Sarah Wallace last week rejected the latest attempt by Trump to toss the lawsuit, which was filed on behalf of 6 voters in Denver District Court last month. The lawsuit argues Trump should be prohibited from running in future elections, citing Section 3 of the 14th Amendment to the Constitution, which states no person may hold office if they engaged in insurrection or rebellion, after swearing under oath to support and defend the Constitution. The suit alleges Trump violated his oath of office in his efforts to overturn the 2020 election leading up to the January 6 attack on the Capitol. The lawsuit was filed by the watchdog group Citizens for Responsibility and Ethics in Washington and several law firms on behalf of 6 Republican and affiliated voters. Eric Olson, a lawyer for Crew, began the hearing by describing Trump's conduct in the days leading up to January 6, including a tweet in December 2020 telling his supporters that there would be a rally in Washington, D.C. Olson said Trump had repeatedly talked about January 6 and argued that he riled up his supporters by encouraging them to come to D.C. that day while pushing false claims of election fraud. President Joe Biden is expected to meet Chinese President Xi Jinping next month, following a visit by China's top diplomat to the White House. The two leaders will probably meet at the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit in San Francisco in November, an event that brings together world and business leaders. While the White House would not confirm the Biden-Xi meeting, a readout of Friday's meeting between China's Foreign Minister Wang Yi and U.S. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan said the two sides were working together towards the meeting. Xi and Biden have not met since attending the G20 summit in Bali last year. The Wang and Sullivan talks formed part of a 3-day visit to Washington, D.C. that saw the foreign minister meet Biden as well as top U.S. officials, including Secretary of State Antony Blinken. China's Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Beijing did not immediately confirm the trip but said there were discussions of the two countries' often acrimonious relationship. Wang told Biden that China was committed to improving and stabilizing its relationship with the U.S. through the 3 principles of mutual respect, peaceful coexistence, and win-win cooperation. According to Chinese state media, he made similar remarks when he met Blinken on Thursday, according to Xinhua. Matthew Perry was widely mourned this weekend by friends, co-stars, and some very famous fans, including his childhood classmate, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, his friend's mom Morgan Fairchild, and even Adele. Perry, who played Chandler Bing on NBC's Friends for 10 seasons, was found dead at his Los Angeles home on Saturday. He was 54. This truly is the one where our hearts are broken, Friends co-creators Marta Kaufman and David Crane, along with executive producer Kevin Bright, said in a joint statement Sunday. We are shocked and deeply, deeply saddened by our beloved friend Matthew's passing, Kaufman, Crane, and Bright wrote. We will always cherish the joy, the light, the blinding intelligence he brought to every moment, not just to his work, but in life as well. He was always the funniest person in the room. More than that, he was the sweetest with a giving and selfless heart. Perry's family also gave a statement to People magazine, writing that they are heartbroken by the loss. Trudeau, who attended elementary school with Perry while their parents worked together, wrote a tribute on X, formerly Twitter. I will never forget the schoolyard games we used to play, and I know people around the world are never going to forget the joy he brought them, Trudeau wrote. Thanks for all the loves, Matthew. You were loved and you will be missed. Perry's mother served as press secretary to Trudeau's father, Pierre Trudeau, during his time as Prime Minister. A man accused of murder, attempted murder, and a hate crime in an attack that seriously injured a Palestinian-American woman and claimed the life of her 6-year-old son pleaded not guilty in court Monday, following his indictment by an Illinois grand jury last week. Joseph Chuba is accused of stabbing Wadea al-Fahmy 26 times and his mother Hannan Shaheen more than a dozen times. Chuba's public defender George Leonard entered the not guilty pleas Monday. Chuba, who was dressed in a red prison jumpsuit, stood at a lectern as Judge David Carlson read the 8-count indictment. Chuba kept his gaze downward for much of the hearing, including when Michael Fitzgerald, Assistant State Attorney of Will County, argued against his release. Ode Al-Fahmy Wade's father was in court listening intently to the proceedings. Shaheen was not present. Carson granted the prosecution's request that Chuba remain detained. An Ohio woman who authorities say killed 4 men with lethal doses of fentanyl in order to rob them pleaded not guilty to murder charges on Monday. Rebecca Auburn entered her plea in court accompanied by her attorney Mark Hunt. Authorities said there are likely more victims and the investigation is ongoing. Auburn of Columbus is accused of killing the men and nearly killing a fifth man after meeting them for sex in Columbus between December 2022 and June 2023. Authorities did not identify the men. Auburn had already pleaded not guilty last month to murder and drug-related charges in connection with one of the men's deaths. She will continue to be held without bond. We will be back after a short break. Till then, stay with us. This world continuously revolving around various events. Every minute, every second, something is happening somewhere around the globe, and you want to get connected to that event or to that specific moment. Here we come, Millennium News Hour, to get you connected with top USA and international trending news, which includes local news, political news, world news, business news, health and science related news, entertainment news, sports news, and so on. Millennium News 24 is transmitted and available to be watched free for all at TVs such as Sony, Samsung, LG, Roku TV, Amazon TV, and Apple TV, and also in all European countries and Australia, available with Sky Network, Worldwide Jago TV, Radiant IPTV, Worldwide Jago BT Network, and Horizon Satellite globally. Stay connected with Millennium News Hour to get the world news on your fist. Welcome back to Millennium News Hour. Now it's time for global updates. The number of people dead and missing due to Hurricane Otis, a Category 5 storm which hammered the Mexican Pacific resort city of Acapulco last week, has risen to nearly 100, authorities in the state of Guerrero said on Monday. Otis battered Acapulco with winds of 165 mph on Wednesday, flooding the city, tearing roofs from homes, hotels, and other businesses, submerging vehicles and severing communications as well as road and air connections. Looting broke out as the city's population of nearly 900,000 became increasingly desperate for food and water. Evelyn Salgado, governor of Acapulco's home state of Guerrero, said 45 people were confirmed dead and 47 others were missing, citing figures from state prosecutors. On Sunday afternoon, Mexico's Federal Civil Protection Authorities said there were 48 dead, consisting of 43 in Acapulco and 5 in nearby Coyoca de Benitez. Among the dead are a U.S. citizen, a Briton, and a Canadian, according to Guerrero's government. After a week of bombing that plunged the Gaza Strip into darkness and cut it off from most of the world over the weekend, Israel's military will continue and intensify its ground operation in the enclave, a spokesperson told a news conference today. The Israeli military also said it had struck targets belonging to the Hezbollah militants in Lebanon and a military building in Iran-allied Syria. Bombs have hit as close to 200 feet from Al-Quds Hospital in Gaza City, where thousands of people are sheltering despite Israeli evacuation orders, a spokesperson for the Palestine Red Crescent Society told NBC News. Staff have warned that evacuating patients from the site would be impossible. More than 1 million people have been displaced in Gaza, where Palestinian health officials say over 8,000 people, including women and children, have died. In Israel, some 1,400 people were killed in October 7 Hamas attack, which triggered the siege of Gaza, and 239 are being held hostage, including infants and children. Bangladesh High Court on Monday commuted the death sentences of 7 Islamic militants to life in prison for their role in a 2016 attack on a cafe in the capital Dhaka that killed 20 people, mostly foreigners. A special anti-terrorism tribunal in 2019 sentenced the 7 members of a banned militant group to death in the attack that triggered a major crackdown on extremists. The group behind the attack on the Holy Artisan Cafe, the Jumatul Mujahideen Bangladesh, wants to establish Sharia law in the secular Muslim majority nation of more than 160 million. A two-member panel of High Court judges on Monday commuted the death sentences of the 7 men after rejecting their appeals challenging the verdict, said defense lawyer Aminul Ihsan Zubair. He said that the High Court found that the men were guilty of hatching conspiracy, provoking and abetting the militants who directly took part in the attack. The attack on the cafe began after the militants took hostages, opened fire and exploded bombs. 20 hostages were killed, including 17 from Japan, Italy and India after a 12-hour standoff. Investigators said that 21 people, including 5 gunmen who were killed by security forces at the cafe, were involved in the attack. 7 men were convicted and 1 was acquitted. 8 other suspects were killed in security raids after the attack. Now it's time for business news. Today's New York stock close price is 14,825.89. The NYSE Composite is increased by 150.11 points or 1.02%. Tokyo stock close price is 30,696.96. The Nikkei 225 index is decreased by 294.73 points or 0.95%. Shanghai stock close price is 3,021.55. The Shanghai index is increased by 3.77 points or 0.12%. Hong Kong stock close price is 17,406.36. The Hang Seng index is increased by 7.63 points or 0.04%. Bombay stock close price is 64,112.65. The Sensex index is increased by 329.85 points or 0.52%. Let's have a look on today's sports stories. Afghanistan defeated Sri Lanka by 7 wickets in Pune on Monday to record their 3rd win of the World Cup and maintain their hopes of a semi-final place. Set 242 to win after a disciplined bowling display, Afghanistan finished on 242 for 3 wickets, with Azmatullah Omarzai unbeaten on 73 and captain Hashmatullah Shahidi 58 not out, the pair sharing an unbroken stand of 111. Afghanistan now have 6 points and sit in 5th place in the table, 2 behind New Zealand and Australia, with the top 4 guaranteed to make the semi-finals. Victory also meant Afghanistan, who had already beaten champions England, had won back-to-back matches at the World Cup for the first time after they defeated Pakistan by 8 wickets last time out. Prior to this edition, they had managed just 1 win against non-test nation Scotland in 2015 from their appearances at 2 previous World Cups. Yet they have now beaten 3 World Cup winners in England, 1992 champions Pakistan and 1996 kings Sri Lanka. Pakistan's chief of selectors Inzamam ul Haq resigned from his post on Monday over allegations of a conflict of interest linked to the team's poor performance at the World Cup in India. Inzamam is reportedly accused of holding a position in a company that has contracted several Pakistan players for marketing and commercial promotions. Former player Inzamam said he was ready to face any inquiry from the Pakistan Cricket Board. I am heartbroken at these allegations of a conflict of interest, and if the PCB holds an inquiry, I am ready to face that. Inzamam told a local television channel in Pakistan. Pakistan media alleged the company involved has influenced the selection process of the underperforming team. Pakistan are on the verge of crashing out of the ongoing World Cup in India, having lost 4 of their 6 matches. They face Bangladesh in Kolkata on Tuesday and not only need to win all their remaining 3 matches but also hope other results go in their favor in order to reach the semi-finals. FIFA has banned former Spanish Football Federation chief Luis Rubiales from the sport for 3 years for misconduct at the Women's World Cup final, where he forcibly kissed player Jenny Hermoso on the lips at the trophy ceremony. This case relates to the events that occurred during the final of the FIFA Women's World Cup on 20 August 2023, for which Mr. Rubiales had been provisionally suspended for an initial period of 90 days, World Football's governing body said in a statement on Monday. FIFA did not publish details of the verdict reached by its disciplinary committee judges, who had investigated charges relating to basic rules of decent conduct and behaving in a way that brings the sport of football and FIFA into disrepute. Rubiales is also under criminal investigation in Spain for kissing Hermoso after the team's 1-0 victory over England on August 20 in Sydney, Australia. He denied wrongdoing to a judge in Madrid who imposed a restraining order for Rubiales not to contact Hermoso. At the final whistle in Sydney, Rubiales had also grabbed his crotch as a victory gesture in the exclusive section of seats with Queen Letizia of Spain and 16-year-old Princess Sofia standing nearby. Rubiales was removed from office by FIFA judges during their investigation, and they also cited a third incident, carrying the Spanish player Atenea del Castillo over his shoulder during the post-match celebrations, in a ruling to explain why he was provisionally suspended. Let's have a look on today's weather forecast. Before finishing today's news, let's hear out the headlines again. Biden discusses accelerating aid to Gaza in calls with Netanyahu LCC. Kamala Harris says no US troops to fight in Israel-Hamas war. Mike Pence, ex-vice president, drops out of Republican presidential race. Trial begins on whether Trump should be kept off the 2024 ballot in Colorado. Biden and Xi expected to meet next month after high-level US-China meetings. Matthew Perry tributes pour in, including fellow Friends actors, classmate Justin Trudeau and SNL. Illinois man charged with murder in the fatal stabbing of a Palestinian-American boy pleads not guilty. Ohio man accused of killing 4 men with fatal fentanyl doses to rob them pleads not guilty. Nearly 100 are dead or missing in Mexico from Hurricane Otis. Gaza incursion will continue and intensify, IDF says. Bangladesh top court commutes death sentences of 7 militants to life in prison for 2016 cafe attack. Afghanistan beats Sri Lanka to boost semi-final bid. Pakistan's chief selector Inzamam quits amidst World Cup fiasco. And FIFA bans ex-Spanish FA chief Rubiales for 3 years over kiss scandal. That's all for today. Keep watching Millennium News Hour for latest news update. To stay updated, like our Facebook page, subscribe our YouTube channel and visit our website. Our website address is www.millenniumnews24.com. Millennium News 24 is transmitted and available to be watched free for all at TVs such as Sony, Samsung, LG, Roku TV, Amazon TV and Apple TV. And also in all European countries and Australia, available with Sky Network, Worldwide Jagu TV, Radiant IPTV, Worldwide Jagu BD Network and Horizon Satellite globally. Stay connected with us for all the latest news worldwide. Thank you.